So I want to get started with the second half of our conference today, which will be shorter, but we have some very interesting topic we want to entertain in the second half. First part, we'll have the honor to hear from the Israeli National Cyber Directorate, the INCD, from Ohad Meshulam, who is the Director of Financial Resilience Center, about cyber crisis management and regulation. So Ohad Meshulam, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. As he said, my name is Ohad Meshulam. I'm the director for the Center for Financial Resilience at the Israeli National Cyber Directorate. And I would like to talk to you today about a specific cyber crisis event, a very large-scale cyber crisis event that I was one of the decision makers that was involved in this crisis. And what I've realized is that for the last couple of years, I have dealt with many cyber crisis events. And what I realized is that a large-scale cyber crisis is not at all similar to a regular one. And for example, it has more than one decision maker. So why do I had to step in? Well, because this compromised organization was connected to a critical infrastructure that I was in charge of. So I had to make the very, very difficult decision, should I reconnect the compromised organization to a critical infrastructure? And of course, it's the easiest thing in the world to just say no. But what my goal in this presentation is to give you some framework into how can you say yes. What I realized is that even when I said yes to reconnecting the compromised organization to the critical infrastructure, is that I wasn't able to do so. Well, because there were a lot of players involved, because this organization was a very large one and connected to various other many organizations, there were a lot of regulators. And what I've realized is even when I said yes, that wasn't enough. There were 5 or 6 different regulators that had to turn their keys simultaneously to mine in order to do so. And the added pressure of the whole event the whole thing came to a standstill. No one was able to make a decision because no one was able to forgo his main question that he asked. Each one of the regulators, we are all people, and each one of us had something that he really felt that he has to have an answer to. For example, what is the identity of the attacker? It was a very big question. One regulator refused to turn his key until he saw the full investigation report. So my goal here is to tell you what I feel should be the only important question and ask question in order to do so. So this is the usual slide that you will see on a cyber crisis presentation. So I'm just going to, I feel that you already know this all response, preparedness, everyone's talking about that. So I'm just going to continue to some of the questions that when you're dealing with the cyber crisis that you might have. So I would like to give the example of a burning building. So when you're looking at a burning building, you have a lot of questions. So the organization itself might have a lot of questions. For example, is the situation contained? Will I be held personally responsible? They are all people. They are only people, and some of the times they make their wrong decisions. Some of the time the wrong decision enabled this cyber crisis. So sometimes the organization itself might hinder the investigation and might give you even false answers to your questions. So it's a problem. They might ask what information was leaked. Would the client abandon me? And is my IR team good enough? And the regulator themselves might have a lot of other questions. For example, what is the identity of the attacker? What is the entrance vector? When I find out the entrance vector, should I run to the public and perhaps betray the organization's trust? but mitigate the entire ecosystem. Who else is affected? Is the attacker still inside, and should I even be allowed the company to reconnect? So it's not my goal to tell you that any one of these questions are irrelevant or not important. They are all obviously extremely important. But what I feel is the only question that you should be asking on a cyber crisis is, what is the most essential thing right now? And how do I do that? We can leave the identity of the attacker. We can leave the full investigation report to the end. But now, if I'll give you the example of the burning building, so this particular burning building has a vault in it on the very top floor, and the vault has a laptop in it. And every hour that I'm not getting in touch of this laptop, I'm losing a lot of money. So the answer here is very easy. You just use the crane of the fire brigade to take the vault out, and now you can deal with all of these important, very important questions calmly. So the way to do that, I feel, is to narrow the path of the solution as much as possible, because I think that there is a misconception that the attacker, while he has a lot of resources, he's very, very sophisticated, he's not working alone. There is the misconception that the attacker has wizarding capabilities, and that is not the case. We mustn't think of the attacker as a wizard. He can't do everything. He can do a lot, but he can't do everything. So I feel that if we speak cyber, not emotions and not fears, if we just speak in the cyber language, we can narrow the path so much that the attacker, that we can give the worst answers to all of these questions. Do we know the attacker? No, probably never will. Many of the attacks today are lol-beans, are living off the land attack. They're not using any tools, they're just using PowerShells and simple lateral movement. And most of the time, we never can know the identity of the attacker, even years after the attack has taken place. So let's just pretend, I think that Franco said it before, let's just pretend that the attacker is still inside. I don't know many of the questions, and maybe we'll never know. Let's pretend that this is the case. So how do we keep the most essential thing going? So in the critical infrastructure that I was in charge of, we had to receive constant stream of data, very important data, from the compromised organization. And the solution that we found is just one of them. There might be 1,000 possible. But we used API and developed a tool that only allowed alphanumeric data to be sent to the critical infrastructure. And we developed a tool at the critical infrastructure that checked to see that indeed that it's only alphanumeric. Well, this specific data stream is going to an SQL database. So our fee was, of course, SQL injection. So we took all the regex expressions, everything out, and left only alphanumeric question, the stream. So, of course, all the regulators had a big problem with that. And in the meeting that we had, we asked, can you think of one way within reason that the attacker, while still in the organization, can use this platform in order to have a meaningful attack? And after everyone said no, no one can thought of a way, it was much more easy for everyone to turn his key. And that is the way that we managed to keep this organization connected to a critical infrastructure. So this is what I'm presenting. I'm saying that when we, at a cyber crisis, we don't think about the attacker as a wizard. He's just a person. Yes, he's very well funded. He has one day vulnerabilities or even 0 days, but he's not a wizard. We can stop him even if he's still in the organization. That's it. Thank you very much.